Hi, welcome to Code and Play. My name is Suman. Let's start today's video. Last video, I showed you about like my project and how we are going to execute it and all that. Today I'm going to show you what I'm doing behind the scenes. So apart from making the project, I'm also working on learning Unity a lot. So as you can see, there are so many things here that I'm trying to do here. So let me show you what I have been doing. This one I'm planning to release maybe when I finish all this content and all. I will release this game in itch.io or Steam, maybe, probably. But I am planning to release this version, don't worry. So the concept is like this. This is what I'm thinking about. Okay, there will be stats, missions, businesses, shops. So you can go to these stats and you will see the window, the stats that are like this. So there are different things here. I'm still designing it, like player stats, gang stats. There will be businesses. There will be items here. Whatever items you have bought, all of that will be here. And if you go to missions will be shown like this. You can able to, like, I will be able to adding these missions. I will add these missions more in the future. This is just a test run, so this is just to see if it's actually working or not. By the way, these missions are actually loaded from program, and this is the topic today. I'm going to show you how to make a list like this from like JSON, for example, or XML. You have a file where you have data, and you want to load that data into your game like this. So I'm going to show you how we can do this. Okay, as I'm just making these things, still not done yet. So yeah, this is what I have been doing behind the scenes. I'm also working, so whatever little time I'm getting here, I'm just investing it in making this view and all that. There are things that I'm still learning, so it is taking time. Recently, I decided to like learn about ScrollView. I never knew that this one Unity has a scroll view before. I've worked with Unity, but never this much as right now. So scroll view is kind of took my time. Almost it took 2 days to actually figure out these things. There are things like content size fitter. This one, last one, the content size fitter. I never knew this, so it took some time to figure this out. And yeah, I'm still making this, so I'll show you what will happen in the future. Okay, today our project is not this, so let's close this. Yeah, so let's go back to our project. What I'm thinking here is I'm going to show you how to add data from a file, or let's say program, list, array list, or JSON, those kind of files. Okay, so you have a file or you have a data in an array and you want to add the data into your game, like item data or market data, or let's say you have an online store, you want to show the items, you want to have discounts. So those kind of data, you want to add them into your game. How do we do that? So basically what we do in Java, since I'm from Java programming, so what we do in Java is this. First of all, yeah, I want to say that if you have seen Code Venture series, I've shown you how to use JSON in that. If you want to know how to use JSON, you can go there and you can learn. Okay, trying JSON in Java, that's the title. I'll also link it here on top, don't worry. Why I'm saying this is because the program notation may be different, but the code concept is simple. So let's say you have an array, or you have a JSON, or whatever you have a data, okay, a big chunk of data. Now this chunk of data you can show into your game by manually coding it. For example, you have let's say data like this, student, okay, S. So there are like this is a student array. Now in C, C++ or Java or Python, anywhere, this is a student array. As I said, programming is all about concept. So you should learn the concept, not the notation. Notation meaning this. In C we say printf. In Java we say system.out.println. This is the notation. The concept is printing. That's the thing you should learn. Okay, not this. So think about concepts, not notations. What I'm saying here is you have an array, students array. Now in the students array, you have data. For example, you have name, you have percentages of their like subjects, how much percentage you have per subject, or you can also say grades, like whatever your education system is using right now. In India, we use grades and percentages as well. Some schools uses percentage, some schools uses grades. So whatever is convenient to you. Now you have this data, right? How do you show this on the view? Because the data that you have will be in a file, right? In a file that is unreadable. Let's say Excel file. In Excel file, you have a table, a neatly organized table. But if you see JSON, or if you see any like object serialized file, you will see completely like unreadable things, like in a XML format. Let's see if we can actually find any XML file format here. Let's say XML sample file, XML sample. Let me show you how it looks like. XML, for those who don't know, this is a like markup language. In HTML and in XML, the thing is we have tags. Okay, each tag defines the type of data that it holds. For example, in this case, the tag called author holds the author name. The tag called title holds the title name, title of the title of this book. Okay, so price tag for price, publish tag for the date of publishing, like that. We have markup language. In this markup language, we have tags. Each tag holds the data in this way. Unless you are into programming, you doesn't understand, or you cannot understand this notation. If you show this notation to any mechanic or any like trade specialist, they will say, what is this garbage, right? So if you want to show this data in a presentable way in your game, you should also use some layouts and design it properly. But that's the first part. The second part is getting the data from this file into your game. That is the concept. That is the hardest part. So the thing here is, we are not talking about how to get the concept. I'm saying right now, I'm going to show you. Let's say we have the data in an array format. Now, how do we show that array into our game? Let's say we have a data like this. We have data like monsters. Okay, this is a like Pokédex kind of thing, where you have Pokemons, list of Pokemons, and you can select each and every Pokemon and see their specialities, their the type of the Pokemons, and what else we have, the special powers, spells they can use, and all that. So this is a kind of monster array. Okay, now I can manually say m of 0, m of 1, like this, like m of 0 dot name, m of 1 dot name, like this. But this will take a lot of time. What am I going to do is I'm going to use for each. For those who don't know, for each is very interesting thing. In Java also we have for each, but not for each. We have for used as a for each. In C# we have for each directly. Okay. In Java, what do? Is we say like this. Let's say we have a var x colon array. So this is how we use in Java. Whereas in for each, we do the same thing. We do the same thing. Var x in array. But instead of for, we use for each. Okay, the same thing that we use in Java, we also have in C#. So in this for each, I'm going to show the data. But now the problem is my data is in program, but the view that I'm going to show is in the output. That means in the outside. It is not in the code. The view is different and the program is different. How do I link up these two? So to understand this concept properly, you have to understand software engineering or computer programming. Look at this. In computer programming or software engineering or app development, we say every app has two ends. Okay, they have two ends. First one is the front end, which is the view part, the part that you see, and the second end is the back end, which is the end part, or you can say the code part, logic part, where you have the code, right? Or program. Whatever programs you're writing, that will be the back end, like database, you can say like online, like TCP/IP protocols, or socket coding, or you can say accessing Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and all that, permissions, cameras, permissions and all that. So all of that will be in the back end. What you see is the front end. So now we have back end. That means this part is the back end. But how do we link up our back end to the front end? That is the concept here. Okay. I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just showing you a way to link up these two. Okay, let's see. Well, let's close this. This part is not needed. Okay, so I think the project is ready. Yeah, the project is ready. So instead of this, we can change the layout on top here. I'm changing it to tall. You can use anything else. Okay, if you don't like this layout, you can also just click default like this, reset all layouts. So it just continue and it will go back to normal like this. Okay, so if you don't like the other layout, you can use this. I'm using tall layout so that I can see the view as well. So this is our scene graph and this is our hierarchy window. Hierarchy window is here, scene graph is here, and this is our project asset folder, and this is the game. So in this I'm changing this to simulator. Let's see. Let's select pixel 5. Okay, fine. So this one now. So in this main scene we have canvas, right? Yes. Okay, so last time, if you see here, last time what did I do? I just dragged and dropped everything like cache, stats, player name. I just dragged them into the panel. Where is the player object? Sorry, I dragged them into the player object. So I said this is a static assignment, right? Now even when you change this order, this assignment won't change because now they are linked as objects, not as positions. So if I change this player name to top, this doesn't change the object here. It's still the player name, stats, cache. If I change the cache to bottom, still player name, stats, cache. See, this is not linked as positions. This is linked as objects. So as it linked as objects, doesn't matter where the object is. Wherever they are, they will automatically link up. This is a static way. This is the fastest way to design something in Unity. Okay. Now, what if I have huge amount of data and I want to show it on the screen like a Pokédex? So I have backend where I have the code, I mean the array, and I have front end where I have the view, the layout. Now, how do we link up these two? So to link up these two, last time I said we have two ways. One is through code and another one is through editor, that means static way. So today's concept is linking view to code from backend or dynamically. Okay, today this is a very interesting thing. I'm going to show you how to access the components of a panel in the code. So very interesting concept. Please, if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. Okay, let's continue. Now, first, before continuing, I forgot to mention. I said that I'm going to show you how to use safe area. So what is safe area? If you see here in the simulator, there is a part where on the top you have a blank, right? What is this blank? This blank is basically the part where you have cameras and phones, speaker phones and all that, right? Whether it's a inlay camera or on the display camera, whatever you call it, this area will not be rendering properly if you like overlap something with this render. Sometimes the UI goes into that render and it doesn't show us properly. So in this case, this is fine. In this case, the camera is on the side. But what if your phone has a notch like this? In that case, the text will be into that notch. So you can't see the notch properly. So you can't see the text properly. So in that case, what we do is we use safe area logic. What is safe area? Safe area is a kind of option. If you see here, we have a safe area here. Okay, so this area is safe. You see at the bottom, the navigation bar is excluded. On top, this notch is excluded. So whatever you do in between this part is safe. Don't do anything outside this part. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, how to use this safe area? I showed you that we can use this through project settings, I guess, layer and rendering outside safe area, right? Don't do that. Okay, it is fine, but don't do that. Let's pick it on, and I'm going to show you the actual way of using safe area. The actual way of using safe area is through code. So let me just drag it back. Yeah. Okay, so the actual way of using this area properly is through code. So what code you are going to use? You will be having the code called I think screen or surface something. The code I forgot. It's a class that can be used from your program. I think surface.safe_area. I think I'll see. I'll show that. Don't worry. So this class, some kind of surface.safe_area or something, I forgot. So this class will be used to access this part, this yellow part. Okay. Now you can restrict the rendering through your code. That will be the best part. So instead of forcing the system to render within the safe area, we will let the system render it completely, but we will control the rendering through code. That will be helpful, because in this case this is fine, but what if the notch is a little bit bigger? Then there will be a problem. So if you write a code, it will automatically find out where the safe area is, and it will automatically adjust the drawing properly. Okay, so through code is the safest way. If I'm forcing it to render in that way, then it might run into problems. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, we can do this in two ways again. We can write the code ourselves. We can access this code ourselves and we can do it ourselves. Or we can access the asset store. In the window menu, go to asset store. In the Unity asset store, we have a free asset. Let me show you that. safe area, and yeah, this one, Crystal Pug. Thanks to Crystal Pug. So this is the safe area. You can use this. Click on this. This is free of cost. You don't need to pay anything. It's free. Okay, so you can see authentication. Okay, fine. So you can see how it is calculating the safe area according to the phone layout, right? It is not just for this phone. You can also see many different iterations here. This one also, there is a safe area on the left and right side, as well as on the bottom side, right? So there is this code works on all orientations. Without the safe area, it executes like this, and with the safe area, it executes like this. Okay, it will keep your UI clean. That's what I'm trying to say. It will keep your UI clean. It will keep your buttons like this. You can see if you zoom in. Can I zoom in? Okay, so if you zoom in here, you have an infinity button, and this one is also slightly going into the things, which is kind of like at times of need you might need them. You can see the difference without the safe area and with the safe area. With the safe area, this button is here, this button is here, and this button is here. Okay, so how to use this? Let's reset. Okay, how to use this? We just have to open this in Unity. That's it. Open in Unity, open editor, and once it downloads, then you can directly use it in your program. So here it is, import 1.0.62 project. Import it. Okay, we need all of this, so just import. It will take some time. In the meantime, you can also access this asset store. There are many free resources. You can just go to 2D or 3D, things like this. There are many free resources. You can just go around and check it. Most of these are paid. But there is a free pixel sprite pack here, 200 plus pixel sprite pack. Let's see. No longer available. Okay. 2D. Let's try characters. Okay. Yeah, you can buy this. You can pay them. These are very costly. $100. Excel Monsters bundle. You can use this, or you can also go to another website. I mean, there are many free versions here as well. These are basically paid, but you can also search through free versions. In pricing here, say 0. Okay, free assets. Just stick free assets and we'll see. Close this. We don't need that. Okay, so here it is, free assets. So you can download them, and you can just the way I'm using here, the same way you can also import the things and you can use it in your program. It's still reloading it. Okay, so how to get this? Simple. Let's say you want this. Go to here. Okay, now you can have a preview. You can see all of that. Don't want this. Okay, you can go through the preview and everything, and once you do this, you can say add to my assets. So once you click add to my assets, it will ask you to like accept EULA. EULA is a license. Okay, go to my assets or open to Unity. Open in Unity. Open Unity editor, and in the editor, it will be added. Okay, so you can access this store. Search safe area and you will find this Crystal Pub, or you can also use Chris the Dev, anything. Safe area is not just a specific code. You can access any of these things. Okay. And for assets, mostly I use Open Game Art. This one. This is a free open source game art website. You can contribute to the like artists here directly, or you can also get it for free. But if you contribute to them, it will be better. Okay. And don't forget to link the artist's name in your credits, please. So there are many different artists here, many different types of things here. For example, I say Hive Assets. Let's see, credits file. Okay, Raleigh. You can support them. Collections. These two. Fine. Let's search something else. Dragon Head, Mushroom, Pixel Art. Okay, pixel art, 32 by 32 size pixel arts. Fine. You can also submit your art. Like here, first you have to register. I don't have a registration, so that's fine. Sound or music. You can play these sounds or music, and if you like them, you can download them directly. How to download them? For example, I click here, click to the pop sounds. Okay, and just click download. That's it. OGG. Download them and then copy and paste them into your Unity and use wherever you want it. Okay, so this is a website, opengameart.com. There are many free websites, free asset websites. This is one of them. If you want to donate to the user, you can also donate them. I think they have Patreon, public domain CC. CC means basically you can use the asset freely. There is no royalty to be paid, but it is good to mention the author name, mention the artist name in the credits. Okay, let's go back. Okay, we don't need this. Here, see, safe area in project. Right now it is in project. Unity registry. I don't need this anymore. So just go to my assets and you can see it is in project right now. Everything is fine. So let's close it. So in project, this is here, Crystal Framework. So open this, open utility, and here is the safe area code. If you don't know how to use this, usually they have a text that mentions how to use it. So you can use that text, or you can also I think here it is. Yeah, here it is. So they have mentioned a text file where you can use this, how to use this. So run an empty scene, target mobile device, rotate the device to each of your 4 orientations, copy the pixel coordinates, enter the simulated device into safearea.cs using the same technique for the iPhone X. Right. Create desired aspect ratio. Okay, usage. Create desired aspect ratio in the game window. I'm already using it. For iPhones, we need this 195:90. This one is different. Add a safe area.cs component to your GUI panels and add the safe area demo, which is this safe area demo, this one. And where is this? I don't think this one is the correct answer. This one? This is an asset. Safe area demo.cs wants to a component in your scene. Run the game and toggle it. This is safe area. So if you go down, you will see different here. So you will see different types of devices and different types of modifications. For example, this one is for iPhone 10, this one for iPhone 10x Max, this one for Pixel 3 XL LSL, LSR. So like that, there are different types of devices that uses different types of orientations. So safe area, this code is made for different types of devices. You can see here, I'm not using all of these things, right? I'm not writing any of these codes and everything. For example, if I go to canvas here, you will see I'm using 1080 by 1920. This is my resolution. And if you go to safe area here, you will see different types of resolutions here: 2172, 1062, like that, landscape. And in portrait, 1125, 2202, like that. This is a different types of device. So that's what I'm saying. This code, you can write it manually, or you can just use this asset directly. Okay, get safe area, screen width, screen height, screen dot safe area. Yes, screen dot safe area, this one. So I was almost right. It's not surface, this is screen. In Android we have surface view, that's why I got confused. Screen. So this is our class. Okay, safe area, this is our class. So in this class you have the safe area component that you can use. So by using this, you can write the code manually, or you can use this asset. Okay, if you want to rewatch this, you can just go back and rewatch. I showed you how to use this. Now, how do we use this safe area component into our code? Let's see. First of all, as he said here, if you see here, he said desired aspect ratio is done. Add a CS component to your GUI panels. So what does it mean? It means that whenever you are adding something onto the canvas, you should add the safe area to that canvas, right, to the component. So let's redo this once again. Let's delete this player object and add a panel. Here I'm calling this background panel. Okay, this will be the background. This will render completely. There is no gaps in the render. This will render from here to here, from this part on top of the phone to the bottom of the phone. There is no space in this part. Okay, you can add a color to this. Let's say this one is from 0 to 1, so you have to give in points. So let's give 0.5, 0.2 and 0. You can have a color like this. You can add alpha, 1 or 0. Yeah, I'm just giving 0.7. This is our alpha. Now this is the background panel. This panel will render completely from top to bottom. The safe area panel will be within the background panel, which will render within the limits. Okay, so inside this I'm giving a panel called safe area panel. You understand? The background panel will render completely, but the safe area panel will only render within the limits. So if you see any gaps here, you will see background panel, but remaining part will be safe area panel. Okay, let me show you how it works. Let's add 1 here, 0.8, 0.4, 0.8. Okay, so this is our safe area and that is our background. Let's change this to 0.7 something. See. 0. Okay, so this is our safe area, that is our background panel. Understand? So let's add the component to the safe area. How do we add the component? Go here, add component. In that, type safe area. I think demo is what they said. So let's try. If this works, this blue part will be limited into this yellow box. Okay, let's wait and see. Importing assets. Okay, nothing changed. So maybe not this. Maybe not the demo. Maybe not the demo, but the safe area itself. Okay, let's see this. Yeah, exactly. So you can see the background panel on the back, and the blue panel is the safe area panel that is restricted to the yellow part. So if I now remove this safe area notation, you can actually see where it is limited, right? So now this is our safe area. Now whatever UI I'm going to do, I will be doing within this safe area panel. Okay, this way my game has a background and has a limited area to like, instead of going into the notches or into these bezels, now I have a proper safe area. Let's change the simulation and see if it really works with this. Yeah, exactly, see. And if I go to, let's say, iPad mini, so the safe area is completely closed because the entire screen is open. Entire screen is able to render it. But if I say Apple Pro, okay, the safe area has a problem at the bottom. You can see here. Okay, so this is working very perfectly. Yeah, top. Right? So now this is working perfectly. So what we can do, we know that background panel is working efficiently. It will render. It will render completely. So you can rest assured that the background panel is actually properly rendering, and you won't have a blank in the background like this. It is properly rendering here, so you won't have a blank in the background, right? So let's say now you want to like make a RPG. Okay, you like make a RPG in a landscape mode, and in the RPG the map will be rendering in the background panel, and the UI will be rendering in the safe area panel. So this way the map will be rendering from top to bottom, left to right. The entire whole phone screen will use the map rendering will use the entire phone screen, whereas the safe area panel will hold the UI panels. So the buttons will be properly placed. Okay, so now you know how to access safe area. So this asset is available in the asset store. You can go here, asset store, and download this. Okay, now moving on. Let's change the background color. This is fine, but I just changing it to 0. Safe area is also working, so we know that it is working. We don't need it anymore. Let's not make it complete 0. 0.1, 0.1. Okay, little bit. Okay, now in the safe area I'm going to add a, let's say, an object, game object, player object. So it is not mandatory, but it is best to add program to a game object instead of any panels. Okay, the another way of doing this is adding a game object here at the bottom. For example, here I said game object, player object, like this. So it is a good practice to add components to this. For example, you have a program like this player object. We have this player mono behavior. So you want to add it to some game object, not panels. Don't add anything to the panels. Panels are just for showing. They are not for rendering your code or anything. Okay. Add everything to game objects. You can reset it here. It becomes 0, 0, 0. Everything is set. Now add component. So I'm going to say player. This player script. So this player script is added here into the player object. Now in this panel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a view. So let me show you what I was struggling with the last few weeks. So in this case, I'm going to add a panel, a normal panel, just a small panel. Okay. This panel will have width and height. So first of all, this is stretched. This is stretched completely. We don't need the stretched panel. We need a small panel. So let's make it minimum. So this panel, width is, let's say 500, and height is, or let's not give width. Let's give width as 900, and height is I'm giving as 500. This is the panel. Okay. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Housing. Okay, so this is the panel. Now, how do you show multiple objects on the screen? Just by adding this. Like, for example, I said text. Added text, right? But if I keep adding text, you won't see them on the screen. I have like 6 text objects, but I am only seeing one. You can see it here. I have 6 text objects, but I am only seeing one. Where are the others? We don't know where the others are. Actually, if you go to the scene view, you will see that all text objects are actually lined up. They are exactly lined up. They are one below the other. Like this. Stack. They are as a stack. Okay. So how do we arrange them? So to arrange them, we use layout. Go to the panel that we selected. Click here and type layout. So this system is similar to Java. So let me explain it properly. In Java, when you want to add a component to a panel, in Java, to show components, what do? First of all, we create a JPanel, right? We create a JPanel or panel, depending on the package that you're using. AWT is panel, Swing is JPanel. So you create a JPanel. Second one, you add a layout. Some of the Java developers will say that don't need to add layout, because by default JPanel has a flow layout. Well, it is true, JPanel has a flow layout, but if you want to arrange the components in your way, then you need to add a layout. For example, border layout or grid layout, grid bag layout, null layout, card layout, like that. You can use the flow layout, but if you don't want it, then you can also add your own layouts. Now, then create components. Components like text, button, checkboxes, radio, all that. And then add components to panel. This is the original way in Java. Then add the panel to the frame. The fifth one is add panel to frame. Done, right? Easy. Well, in Unity, it is not so easy. I'm going to tell you one harsh truth. If you are not having any hair loss, you will have something very soon, because in Unity, the layout is not as simple as this. The amount of hair loss you will have by simply plucking your hair because of frustration is too much. Okay, back in 2018, 2019, Unity was simple. layout was easy. Just add a layout like this. So in back then, what we used to do in Unity, what do we do is, first of all, as you can see, I made or created a panel, right? Added a panel. Second one, define width comma height. I did that, width and height. Third line, then we add layout. And fourth line is add components. That's it. This is how we did in Unity 2020. So before 2020, this is easy. Now you have to understand that making UI is as hard as making a game, because the components are not aligned in this way. It is not so easy to do it now. Let me show you what I did in the previous that one. I showed you that project, right? This one. It took me almost like a week to complete just one window. Why? Let me show you. First of all, in Unity, in the new version, what you should do? You should, in new Unity, first of all, add a panel, which I did. Second, assign width / comma height. This is normal from the previous one. Create panel or add a panel, whatever it is. Define width and height, simple. But here comes the thing. If you add layout, this is not enough. You also have to add components. That is also not enough. Now you have to assign width and height to components, because without that your components will not show properly. And then you have to, if you are using mobile, for example, in mobile we try to minimize the amount of visuals as much as possible, or minimize the size of the content as much as possible. So for example, you are like scrolling down, like for example you are scrolling like list of enemies. You can't just scroll thousands of lists, right? You need some amount of control. Let's say you have a page control, like in one page you have 100 entries, next page you have next 100 entries. So you can scroll to that one page up and down, then go to next page and scroll up and down. So if you want to do those kind of things, or if you want to like use a scroll at all, if you want to use a scroll view, you must know how to contain the components within the layout. What is this step? This is what I'm talking about. This is the most frustrating step that I did in the last week. I tried to add components and thought that Unity will work in that way, but it is not. Apparently, we also have to manually assign width and heights to the components so that it works properly. Also, I have to use this logic, contain the components within the layout, so that the scroll works properly. The scroll view doesn't work properly because the components doesn't fit in the layout. I'll show you that, don't worry. So these are the steps, additional steps that you have to do now. So in old version, whenever you add a component to a panel, the panel knows what is the width and height of the component and it will automatically adjust. In the new version, it won't adjust. It will override the components width and height, which will completely destroy the layout that you are trying to think. Let me show you that. So in this case, let's say I have 6 text. Okay, I want to show it in a order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layout to the panel. Vertical layout. So in this vertical layout, you can see here padding, right? Padding, spacing, child alignment and all that. So this is what I'm talking about. See, everything is very neatly arranged here. This is fine. But what if I try to, like, let's say 60. Okay, this one is a little bit bigger. Let's give 50. Now if you see in the simulator, you will see the problem here. New text. What is this? I want the new text to be in single line. Why 2 lines? So let's give some width and height here. Okay, width and height is 200. Let's give 300. Okay, single line, fine. What if I say this one also 300? Single line, good. Now let's add some text here. This is a sentence. Again double line. So let's increase the width again, 500. So you have to manually do this. Also, if you go to the scene view, you will see that this panel has a problem. The sentence that you are seeing here is not actually aligned with the width and height of the text. So you have to increase the height 70, or else it will show in a weird way. Okay, if you don't want to do this, you want to do it in an easy way, then go to the panel, go down, and you can actually control the child width and height. This is the easiest way. Now if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, easy, right? So this is what I'm saying. You have to learn how to use these. Okay, if you don't know how to use these, then it's gone. You will waste a lot of time, like me just now. Just like how I wasted a lot of time, you'll also waste a lot of time. So in the padding section, you have padding within the box. So in the left side, let's say 50, right side 50. Right side we don't have anything, so it's fine. Top, which is here, 50, and bottom also 50. Now what is the spacing? Spacing is basically space between these components. So if you see here, there is no space, right? What if I want to give a space of 20? Now they will be having some space like this. There is a small space between them. Okay, can you see this? There is a space between them. Now if I go back to the simulator will show the text like this. This looks nice, right? This looks nice because I know how to manipulate this layout. To learn this, it took me almost a week. I don't know how to use this part, so I have like wasted a lot of time. How to use this, that, and everything. There is also another way that you can try these things by manually placing them. So instead of layout, you can also manually place them. For example, if I remove this component and drag this, let's say I want to drag it here like this. You can also manually place them like this, right? Not this. Like this. So you can manually place them with your mouse, or you can use the layout part. Right? So the layout part is here, and in the simulator it looks nice. All right, so the player has components. The player has components like stats, name, cache. Let's show these components on the screen. So the main thing today, the video, is to show how to link the backend to the front end. Let's do that. So the player has components, as I said, components like stats. What stats do the player have? The player has damage, defense, health, energy, and cache and name, right? So let's show these things on the screen. Last time, what did I do is I dragged each and every component into the player object like this. I click this here, drag it. Click this here, drag it like this, right? So today I'm going to show you how to access this entire panel without dragging them. Okay, and to not confuse you, I'm just renaming these things just to show you that it works. This is the name or player name. This will be player health. This will be player cache, right? So these three things I'm going to show right now. Now what to do? Go to the player object, double click this and open it. All right, it is opening. I hope the Microsoft doesn't update now. Last time when I started the recording, the update came out of nowhere. I hope it doesn't update now. How long did the video go? Almost 1 hour. Everything fine? Everything fine? Loading. Loading. Yeah, I hope it's fine. Okay, nothing, no update. Good. Okay. So first of all, let me close this. And also, if you don't want to use public variables, you can use private. Okay, better not to use public. Public is not so safe. Okay, you can use private. By default it is private, so you can write private like this, or it's fine, no need to write private anyway. So this is private, this is also private. Now first of all, what I need is I need the panel that holds these things. Easy. Okay, so first we need this panel. Once we get the panel, come on, how much? We don't need them. That thing is gone. Why is it still showing? Okay, so I need this panel first. Once I get this panel, I can reference these things. Mind it, these things are like as I said in the previous video, once you assign them statically, the order doesn't matter. But this time I am assigning them dynamically, so the order do matter. If you don't want to change the order, take care while designing these things. Okay, please take a note that what I'm going to show you is a dynamic assignment. Dynamic assignment must be done with a proper order. If you change the order, the assignment will change. So in the previous video, I showed you that even though you just shift this cache up or bring this name down, it doesn't matter, but this one matters. Here it matters. So what do? We get this panel first into the player object here. And if I see, if you see here, when I save this, you will see those fields disappear automatically, because now they are not private, they are private, so they will disappear. Oh, there is a problem. Okay, There is a code error. The code error can be seen. Where is that? Console. General console. So the code error is seen here. You can drag this console tab into the project asset and it will be here. So this is the code error. The code error is saying there is no P1, no P2, no P3. Why? Because in the code I used these. So I don't need them. Now when I save them, it will update and it will remove these errors. Okay, come on. Move fast. Still working. Okay, there is an error. Player.cache is assigned, but its value is never used. A warning. No problem. So now we have the player. The player object will have no components here. You can see nothing. Now to access the panel, we need to access the game object. So I'm saying private game object. Okay, G capital game object panel 1. Now since this is private, we won't be seeing these private objects in the editor. Okay, private objects are only specifically used in the class. They are not for the editor. So how do we show this in the editor then? Either declare them as public. This will show the value in the editor, or keep it private, but add a field on top here. SerializeField. What does this do? This will make only this object show in the editor. Let me show you. Even if I use this, let's use it here. Let's see. Okay, even if I use this there, these are private. This is private, but the SerializeField only applied to this. So let's see now what will show up. All 4 fields or only 1 field? Let's see. Stuck. Hey, is it working? Is it working? Yeah. Yes. So only panel 1 is showing, nothing else. So this is what I'm saying. When you have a private object, to show it in the editor, you need to add SerializeField. If you want to show 2 objects, let's say I have another panel object, game object, panel 2. I want to show this one as well. Well, you need to also add SerializeField here. Okay, so whichever object has this SerializeField tag, that object will be showing on the editor. Rest of the things won't be showing on the editor. Even if I try adding like this, let's see if this works. In Python, we have this approach. In Python, we have this approach where unless you give a space, the bracket, or you can say the code, doesn't end. What I'm trying to say here is this. In Python, let's say you have if, okay, if a greater than b. So unless you give a space here and say print, unless you do this, then there is a problem. But if you just write it like this, there is no problem. So if there is an extra space in the middle, that will be causing problems in Python. Is this the same in Unity? No. In Unity, it doesn't matter whether you give one space or multiple spaces. It doesn't matter. You must add sorry, you must add the SerializeField tag in Unity. Okay, so if you want 2, you have to add 2. Right now I only want 1, so this is it. Now, one more important thing: start is not a constructor. I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. Start is not a constructor. Start is the starting of the execution, not starting of the program or starting of the app. Constructors work differently. In programming, constructor is a function or a method that calls itself as soon as the class is initiated. What do I mean? I mean by this, let's say you have an object like student S1, or let's say you have an office like employee. Okay, employee E1 equal to new employee. So as soon as I write this, the constructor calls itself. This is what you call as object creation. So as soon as you create the object, the constructor calls itself. And where do we create objects? We create objects at the starting of the app. When I say jPanel P1 equal to new jPanel, I am creating a panel. So I am starting the app and creating a panel. This is what I mean by starting. So as soon as you start the app, you have a panel. In Unity, start method doesn't work like constructor. Start method works after creating the object. What do I mean? Let's say you have 2 objects here, jPanel P2 equal to new jPanel. Okay, now I give set background color.black, be small, right? Color.black, and this one P2, this is blue. Now once these components are set, then starts call, then calls the start method. So it doesn't create the, it doesn't call the constructor in Unity as soon as you start the program. What do I mean by this? I mean the way goes like this. You start the game. Okay, you start the game, you initiate components like player components, map components. You start the map, you start initiating the components, you call the database, you do all of those things before starting the game, before showing the game. So you initiate the components and then you show the world, or you can say show the view. This is what you do in games. In games, you always start the game and you will see a loading screen. What happens in the loading screen? This what happens in the loading screen. It initiates the components, it creates a player, it connects to the database, links the database player to the code player, and gets the information from database to the server, from the server to the client, then initiates the client, starts the player, creates the world, positions the player on the world. If it's an open map, if it's an open world map, then the player will be having a specific position. It goes to there and it shows the player in that position. If it's a hub world map, it opens that specific hub and then locates the player where it is, and then renders the player in that position. So what I'm trying to say is, it will first of all initiate these things. Okay, you are showing the inventory, you are showing the map, world map, you are showing the monsters. All of this will be initiated before showing the view. So before loading the view, before showing the actual view, all of this will happen. This happens in the constructor. Start starts here, not here. I was wrong. I said start happens here, but no, this is not start. Start happens here. Then how do I initiate the components? How do I load my player? So in Unity, apparently there is a hidden function called awake. This one. This is the function that is actually constructor. I didn't know that. As I said, I'm learning. So yeah, things are very rough, pretty rough in Unity. So this is what the constructor is. As you can see, awake is called when the script instance is being loaded. That means constructor calls. As soon as the constructor calls, awake calls. Let me show you that. Debug.log awake, called from awake. Okay, then I said these things, right? Player name and all that. So I'm going to say debug.log calling from start, right? In the awake, I'm going to call a function. Let's say demo1. This is a function. This is a user function. What is it function? This function is just to call, just to show this demo1. Here I'm just saying debug.log called from user function. Okay, pay attention where I'm calling this. I'm calling this from here, from the awake, from the constructor. So what is the actual flow? It should call from the awake, then it should go to the constructor. I mean, it should go to the start, then it should call the demo. This is the original flow. But in Unity, what it will do, it will first call the awake, then call the constructor, I mean call the function in the constructor, and then go to the start. So this is where your programs will start to not align with the output. So if you want to make any database calls or server calls, you should do it here in awake, not in start. Okay, let me show you this. Let's save. As well as we have the panel one, I'm going to use the panel one as well. So the save one here. I will show you how it loads. First of all, we will see which function calls first. Because basically in Java, what happens is, whenever you load the game, the constructor calls, right? And in that we have methods. Those methods will be called, and then you have other user functions. So if you want to create any like initiate components like this, you must call them in the methods and then use that method in the, call the method in the constructor. If you like using functions like movement or collision detection, those things are other functions, user functions. So they are called as the view is shown, not when the components are initiated, right? This is the difference. The methods are same, but the way of execution is different. In Unity, this is where start is called. Okay, and this is where awake is called. So if you want to create constructor components or constructor methods, you should call the methods in the awake function, not in start function. Start function starts the execution. Start function starts at the starting of the execution, not at the starting of the app. I hope you understand this. This is very like brainy concept. You have to understand how it works, how the application starts, how application executes, to understand this concept. If you don't understand, go back and rewatch this. Don't worry. Okay, let's continue. So when I play this, you will see 3 lines of code. First one is awake, second one is demo, third one is start. This is the order of execution. So if I go to console, you will see first one is awake function, next one is demo user function, and then we have start, and then we have the user stats. Okay, so start comes at the end of the calling. So if you want database functionality, if you want permissions, if you want to access those things from the starting of the app, like login, for example, you say login. As soon as the app loads, your user should log in automatically. So those functionalities must be given in the awake, not in the start, because apparently this is how Unity works. And awake is a hidden function. It is not used unless you want it. How do you use it? Just write it, just like I did. Just go here and say awake, awake, and it will show the list like this. Just click on it and you create the awake function, and here you can call the functions that you want to call. Okay, so this is how you create constructors. Now, why I'm saying this? Because I'm going to use it. No use of this. No use of this here. We don't use it here. We will use it here. We will create the components here. So the player name is here, stats is here, cache is here. Everything is created in the awake function. And then once the awake function is done, now what I'm going to do is, not going to use start. Okay, let's go to the awake function. And also don't put too much code into awake function. It will make your app slow. It will make the loading slow. Okay, don't put too much code into this. Try to share the code as much as possible. Now, as I said, the assignment is here, but once you assign it, you have to show it. So to show it, I'm going here. What I'm doing is I'm going to access one of the component from the panel one. So let me show you this. Game object obj1 equal to panel1 dot get component in children. Why? Because panel 1 is not a component. It is a panel that has children. So if you see this, where is this? Panel doesn't have any components here. It has children. Children means this. Okay, this is the parent and these components are the children. So I want the component from the children. Which component? Player name component. This one. So which position is this? This is first position. So I say components in children. Which component? tmp underscore text component. This one. Okay, of 0. So I get this component dot get or just use this as a var obj. Yeah, variable obj1. Now if I say obj1 of 0 dot text equal to player name, not player name, what do I mean is I am getting the first component from the player, from the panel, and assigning that player name to the first component. So what is the usage of this concept? Well, this concept is used to add multiple data in a, as I said, JSON or array concept, where you have a lot of data and you want to show all of that onto your view all at once. So in that case, we use this kind of initialization. This is dynamic initialization. This is not practiced most of the time, but it is better to show in lots of data case. Let's say you have list of items, or you want to show inventory. So in inventory you have list of items, or you have to show the spell book, you have list of spells. So those kind of things are shown using this. Okay, so you say object1 dot player name. What is the second object? So this is the problem. I have to go back and forth every time. I have to see which one is next, like that. So player, then cache, then health. Okay, player name is done. So obj1 of 1 dot text equal to cache dot toString, right? Since these are individual elements, these are individual variables, I have to add them like this. If they are part of an array, let's say we have a player array here. I have a player array like this, P1. In this case, what I will do is I'll simply just use for each where P in obj1, okay, P dot text equal to P1 dot whatever the value that you want. Let's say name. What is that? Oh, it's sorry. Let's give stats. Let's say stats array S1. Okay, P dot S1 dot let's give like damage, what is it, S1, I think I made a small mistake here. Yeah, I made a mistake. Yeah, you get the point, right? If you have an array, you will show it like that. Later, next time I'll show you a proper JSON array, not this. Let's not waste time. Let's continue. obj2 of dot text equal to player health. So stats stats dot health, like this. Okay, obj1 stats dot health dot toString. Okay, I just let's complete this and move on. Next class I'll show you JSON data, how to access JSON data, and we will see in that case. As I'm saying, I'm still trying to understand the Unity's UI layouts and all that concept. So I'm like thinking in that way. It's taking a lot of time to build something in Unity right now. So code part is let's just go through the code part very quickly. Next class I'll show you how to use JSON. Is it done? Come on, man. Okay, I only have access to these three right now, but if I want to use more, I can also access more. Okay, let's start. There is an error. What is the error? Variable panel 1 has not been assigned. Has not been assigned. Object. Oh, forgot to drag this. Okay, you can see Suman, cache, and this. You can refine it. You can add more components to this, like this, cache. Okay. Plus, you can also say HP health toString, no use toString, slash stats dot max health, like this. So if I execute this, it will be different. So in this case, I'm actually accessing these things programmatically. So if you disturb the order will also change. The code will also, I mean, the execution will also change. You will see health as cache and cache as name and something like that. So if you change the order, please maintain the order in the program as well. So this is why we don't use this kind of execution in static way. We use this like dynamic execution in the case of things like showing multiple items. Like I said, inventory, spellbook, market, all that, shop and all that. So in this case, I mean, in those cases, we don't need to change the orders of the items. Just design it properly and then use the item as you want. Right? Let me see. Okay, so Suman, cache, and HP. What I'm trying to say in the JSON part is, let's say we don't have one panel. We have like, let's delete this. Okay, let's decrease this size to around 500. Yeah, 500 is fine. Okay, let's say we have 3 panels. Now what? Well, now let me add one more panel here and make these 3 panels as children of this panel. Right? So now add a panel layout here saying vertical layout group and width and height. That's right. So if you see, this panel don't need anything, it's 0, and these panels, what they need is 1, 0 0. Okay. And fill center. No fill center. 0.25. Centered. Yeah, it's fill center. It is hard to see actually. The panels are actually lined up properly. Okay, 3 panels. So if you have 3 panels, let's give some width here. Not 50, that's too much. 20. Okay, right 20, top 20, and bottom 20. In between them, you have 30. Yeah, that's true. Then that's it. So as I said, safe area will be applied, so automatically they will resize themselves. They will resize themselves and they will compress automatically. Now there is a program error. Then there might be a crash. I'm still waiting for the crash. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's still okay. This is the thing as I was talking about. So only one panel has this. And you can see there was a notch on top. You see here, this program is within the safe area. Okay, so the safe area as it is working. Next, what if I have a series of panels like this? Then what? Well, in that case, we don't drag this panel, we drag this panel. Okay, and let me drag that. I will drag this panel. So instead of these, I'm dragging the main panel, which is this. This is main panel. So in the player object, we have main panel. Instead of panels, we have main panel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go here and change the code little bit. What code I'm going to change? I'm going to do it like this. Game object. So now instead of specific components, I'm having the entire panels itself. So what now? For each obj1, right? This is the array. Where x in obj1, let's say like this. This is not O, this is O. So where x in obj1. Now each x, or let's call it panel, each panel has components inside them. So what I will say is I'll say like this: panel dot get component in children, or get components in children, like this. tmp underscore text underscore text, right? This will be the variable x. So x of 0 dot text equal to player name, right? Now here we are going to show the object. So what object we have? Let's say we have an object like so player data of 0, okay, dot name. This is the object. Now as if you observe here, I'm having 0 and 0. So the next one is 0 dot text equal to player data of 0 dot cache, right? Again 0 0. So since both indices are same, I simply can use for loop. For int I equal to 0, I less than x, or player data dot length, this is the length of the array, and in this I++, I will simply say x of I dot text equal to player data of I dot player name dot name. So what happens here? Every panel, the first component will be the name. X of I dot text equal to player data of I dot cache. Every panel second component is cache. Okay, x of I dot text equal to player data of I dot health or stats dot health. So every panel third component will be health. So this is how we mention or we use JSON data in our code. All of this is done in the start function because we are showing it after rendering the view. As soon as your view starts, this data shows up. Okay, now you can use this logic in spellbooks, inventories, cache, or you can also use in Pokédex, anything. You have a JSON data, you can show it like this. Easy. This is what I said. So if you want to show multiple objects, you can show it from the code itself. But in that case, you have to understand that the program must be properly created. That means the alignment must be properly maintained. Understand? What if you want to create this panel at runtime? So in this case, I only have 4 panels. What if I want to create 25 panels? I can't copy and paste each and everything. So in that case, if you remember, we will use prefabs. So I'll just drag this panel here and create a prefab. Right? Now this panel is a prefab. Now what happens? None of these panels exist. The main panel is just an empty panel, nothing else. The player object has the main panel. The main panel is an empty panel. But we are going to access the what? SerializeField. SerializeField private game object panel prefab. So I'm going to access this prefab now. For that I need to close this because this is error. I don't have any player data, so I'm just closing this, and I'm going to open these things. Also not this. This is different. Where obj1 equal to what is the panel1 dot get components in children, pmp underscore text like this. Okay, so right now this obj1 is showing the panel itself, but in this case, if I don't have the panel, I want to show the component of the panel, then what? So this is to show the panel. This is to show data in the panel, right? And this is to show data from JSON. Show data from JSON, right? What if I want to show the data from JSON or from whatever I have into a prefab? I want to create this prefab, then what? Let's say like this. So the prefab will be added here. So I'm going to access the prefab. So panel prefab dot get components in children tmp underscore text, not this text, and use this as the object, obj equal to this. And now directly saying obj of 0 dot text equal to player name, and obj of 0 dot text equal to cache cache. Okay, so from the panel prefab, not from the code, it's from the panel prefab. So I have a prefab, I'm going to access that prefab into this program, and once I access the prefab into the program, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this prefab into the panel 1, or let's call this main panel. Okay, so I access this prefab and then access the components from the prefab, and then use this prefab and create a panel in the main panel, or add this prefab into the main panel. So to do that, we are going to use like this. Instead of this, I need to say game object, let's say main object equal to initialize. Okay, instantiate. Okay, spelling mistake, sorry. Instantiate panel prefab, comma, main panel. So instantiate this panel prefab into the main panel dot transform. Instantiate this prefab into the main panel dot transform, and then use that panel prefab, which is the main object, and get the components, and then use those components here like this. What did I do? Let me show you. Let me write it down here. So first of all, we have 3 conditions. So condition 1, let's say we have a panel on the screen. What to do then? Simply access the panel, drag the panel into the player object, player obj, game object, and then write the following code. What code? Where obj equal to p1 dot get components from children, whatever object you have here. Okay, and then directly access them. Obj of 0 dot text equal to something. This is condition 1. What about condition 2? So in this condition, let's say we have a panel with multiple panels inside. Then what? Then we will drag the main panel. Drag the main panel into player obj and write the following code. So what is the code here in this case? It is the same as previous one, but a little bit different. I'm going to say main object equal to p1 dot get component. What did I say? Yeah, this one. Okay, so I'll just use it here like this. So first of all, you get the components or multiple objects. Since you have multiple panels, you get those components, not component. S, components. Okay, component means singular, first component. Components means list of components. So in this case, this is crucial. S is crucial. So this is how you get the data. So you use the components and then you get the data. Condition 3. What is condition 3? So in condition 3, we have main panel, but no panels, or sorry, but with a panel prefab. Now what? So in this case, you drag the main panel and panel prefab into player object. Then write the following code. So what code need to write, or what code do we need? We need this code. So you get the game object and then you write this. Got it? So you get the game object, then you write it. Done. So this is how you create the concepts. Now this is not a perfect way of writing the code, but this is the used concept. This is mostly used concept. This is not the perfect way. As I said, there is no proper concept of executing a program. There is only code that we can use. Since I don't have anything, there will be problems. I didn't drag anything here. Null values. It's taking time. So as I said, depending on the concept or depending on the condition you have, you can use these programs. If you have only one panel, you can directly just execute the panel. Or if you have multiple panels, multiple defined panels, like say you have 5 or 6 panels, then you can use this. Or if you want to create or add panels, then you need to use these two. The remaining part is same. This for each part is same for both of them. For each part is same for both condition 1 and 2, condition 2 and condition 3, but the first line here, this line is different. Only this line is different in condition 2 and condition 3. The remaining part is same. Okay. There is an error, obviously. Go to this, drag the main panel here to the main panel, panel prefab to the panel prefab, and now we execute this. So since I only gave 0, that is 1, one index, it will only show one panel. Okay, single panel. But if I give 2 indexes, then it will show two panels. Let's just copy and paste this, nothing else. Paste. Not this. This entire part. See? Paste. Paste. So now you have 3 children. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So main object 2, obj2, and main object 3, obj3. So 1, 2 and 3. 3 components. So now you have 3 panels. So since you have 3 components, you will have 3 panels. Okay, let's see. Right? So you have 3 panels. I didn't made any panel. These are clones. As you can see, clone 1, clone 2, clone 3. These are clones. They are created automatically. I didn't create them. If you close this, the main panel is empty. Right? The main panel is empty. The prefab is imported into the player object and there it is created. Okay, so this is what I am doing in my game right now. I am like creating these things, making these things, and as I am seeing fit, I'm adding these things into the program. Okay, so today we learned a lot of things. I hope you understand all of this, and if you have any problems, please comment them down. I will try to answer them as much as possible. That's it. Thank you. See you next time.